Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. I hope you had a great day. Today we are looking at some new malicious compliance stories. I hope you enjoy the video. The first story is already called corporate. I used to be a field adjuster. Essentially, I would receive a batch of claims each day and would drive around servicing those claims. We never knew what the day would bring. There were a lot of adverse jobs in the area that were extremely difficult to work with. And typically they attracted a certain type of clientele that was also difficult to work with. As an example, imagine asking 26k to do a 9k claim, which on any other brand of car would be a 4k claim. I received a claim that day which I immediately knew was going to be a problem file. We had just had a hail catastrophe and there was a bit of a wait to have the vehicle inspected. I pre-called the customer to introduce myself and set expectations for inspecting her vehicle that day. She immediately interrupted me, saying that she didn't even want to talk to me and that she had already gone above my head. Confused and a bit taken aback, I asked her to please elaborate, because perhaps she didn't fully understand who I was and how I was en route to review and approve her repairs. Shouting, she said she was fed up with our company for taking so long to inspect her vehicle. It had only been a few days. And how her shop had bad-mouthed us and that I don't even need to come out because she had already spoken to corporate. And that I should expect a phone call from them and no action should be taken until I hear from them. I acknowledged the customer and her emotional state. And against my better judgment of wanting to get as far away from this claim as possible, I once again offered to see her vehicle that day. I shared that it may be a while before someone else can come out as we are really busy with the catastrophe. And all corporate can do is send me or one of my colleagues out to see her vehicle, because there's no other method to approve her repair estimate. Apparently, she thought I was intimidated by the prospect of speaking with corporate. She seemed thrilled by the prospect of me, a stranger who had just received her claim today, be disciplined because she defiantly rebutted my offer and said it's too late, I better await my phone call. Okay ma'am. Just to be clear, you are refusing inspection of your vehicle at your body shop at this time, is that correct? Yes. And with that, I gleefully but politely ended the phone call. I thoroughly documented the file with the customer's wishes and details of our conversation about how I reiterated several times my willingness to perform the inspection that day. And how she declined and stated that she had gone above my head. Then I cancelled the inspection and returned the claim back to the void where claims go when they wait to get reassigned. I never got a call from corporate and her claim undoubtedly got delayed by an additional week or longer. The next story is called Emergency Contact. This happened back in 2009. I was working part-time at a doctor's office while I was in nursing school. I was one of the receptionists and did all the filing and cataloging and such. It was boring work, but the doctor, my boss, guaranteed me a job after nursing school, so that's why I did it. This particular doctor was an orthopedic surgeon. We had lots of patients coming in for MRIs, CT scans and X-rays. This one particular patient, Frank, was scheduled to have surgery in a couple of days and he needed to come and pick up his MRIs and X-rays from our office and bring them with him to his procedure. So anyway, I called Frank to tell him to come to pick up his images, but he didn't answer. I called him again during lunch, but still no answer, so I left him a message. The following day, I called him again, but still no answer. It was imperative that Frank got his images, or else he wouldn't be able to have his surgery. So I looked in his file to see if he had any other contact information. He listed his home phone number as well as his wife's cell. I called his house and left a message, and I also called his wife, Amy, but she didn't answer either, so I left her a message as well. The office manager, Diane, told me to just call whoever was listed in his emergency contacts. If Frank didn't get his images and missed his surgery, then she would have to do a whole new stack of paperwork to reschedule him. And she didn't want to be bothered. I looked to see if there was an emergency contact, and Frank listed a woman named Helen. Relation to the patient? Girlfriend. I told Diane I didn't want to call Helen when I had already left a message for Amy, as it would put me in an awkward position. Diane said that as long as the patient listed them as an emergency contact, I could call them. She also said that it's not uncommon for couples to be separated but still legally married for insurance reasons. And that this could possibly be the case for Frank and Amy, which I guess made sense. I really wanted to believe that no one would be stupid enough to put their secret lover as an emergency contact. I didn't want to get fired for being insubordinate, so I called Helen and she actually answered her phone. I was secretly hoping she wouldn't. I told her Frank's images needed to be picked up prior to his surgery. She came by during lunch, got the images and then left. I immediately called Frank again to let him know that Alan picked up his images and not to worry about it. But this fool wasn't answering his phone, so I left him another message. A couple of hours later, Amy called back and said she wasn't able to answer before because she was teaching. But she got our message and was coming to pick up Frank's images now that school was done for the day. I told her that the images had already been picked up. I tried to be as vague as possible. Who picked them up? I know Frank is still busy at his office and hasn't had the chance to come to get them. I was trying really hard to be vague. We called someone from his emergency contact list. Was it his brother Steve? At this point I was really nervous. No, not his brother. Well, then who? Helen. Who is Helen? I don't know anyone named Helen. I'm not sure, but since she was on Frank's emergency contact list and no one else was answering the phone, we called her. She already came and got the images. Confused, Amy hung up. The following day was Frank's surgery. The day after Frank's surgery, my boss jokingly asked me, "What the hell did you do to that guy?" He came in all mad at me, saying that my secretary told his wife about his other girlfriend. I told my boss what happened and that Diane told me to call the girlfriend. Diane tried to throw me under the bus by saying I didn't tell her that Helen was Frank's girlfriend. That I had told her Helen was just a friend and that she never would have given me the green light to call her patient's mistress. But I reminded her in front of my boss that she had said it was possible for Frank and Amy to be married but separated. She was trying to cover herself because she probably thought it was some kind of HIPAA violation, but nothing ever happened. I was 18 years old at the time and just did whatever my superiors told me because I was really thirsty for job security after college. But I ended up not working there and went to work at a hospital instead. I hope you enjoyed today's video so far. If you want more content, please subscribe to the channel. And if you like the video, don't forget to press the like button. It really helps. And now, on to the next story. The third story is called Just Get It Done. In my youth, I worked for a large Canadian big box store known for having its own currency. For the most part, it was a decent place to work. I got my first aid certificate as well as my forklift license at 16 through them. Being the youngest licensed operator on staff, who also was not in a management position, meant that I was largely the go-to person for grabbing things with the forklift. However, I was not given my own key. So one cold and blustery December, right before Christmas, the customer service manager needed me to move a pallet of water softener salt from the back dock to the front of the store. It would sit right outside the entrance. 12 kilo bags, 10 to a row, 10 rows high. Not too hard to do on a flat ground, just needs a bit of a jerk to get it moving. And provided you don't have to stop, the weight keeps it moving on its own with little force. However, they were not in the warehouse dock, but outside to make it easier for the forklift to pick them up and move them around front. The customer service manager was not trained on the forklift and did not have a key. And for some reason, on that busy day before Christmas, neither did anyone else in the store. A fact I tried to explain, but was told to just get it done. Now, the exterior of the dock is one of those ones that slopes down so the trucks can be level with the floor to make it easier to offload and move stock to the floor. Naturally, the salt pallets were next to the store's exterior wall, and we did not have a power jack, just the regular old hand carts. There's a trick to moving heavy loads uphill, don't try to pull it straight up. Make small, incremental zigzags, 6 to 12 inches to one side at a time, slowly walking it up the hill. An hour and a half later, it was at the front door of the store. The customer service manager was, needless to say, extremely angry that the only person who was covering the warehouse for the entire store had disappeared for an hour and a half. She demanded to know why I hadn't just used the forklift. I replied that no one in the store had the key. She had told me to just get it done, and that it was now time for my legally entitled 15 minutes of break. The next day I was given my own key to the forklift, and all management was required to go for forklift training. The last story is called Gift Policy. As an HR manager at a manufacturing company, I had the pleasure of working with some of the true salt of the earth lads. I bloody love them. It's rare to have this sort of relationship with HR, I know, but I didn't start in the position. I worked my way up, and in doing so, always kept my main ethos intact. Be open and honest and communicate. It's simple, but changed the way the company saw itself. With my job and part of the open and honest structure I believe in come my policies. In my experience, when people have defined policies, it helps them know what will happen and limits any what-ifs. One of my policies is on gifts. We are a manufacturing company, we don't get a huge amount of gifts. Come Christmas, you do see a lot of companies trying to buy your interest though. It had appeared to me in the years I had been there that most gifts came to myself from recruitment agencies or to the purchasing manager from potential stockists. My policy stated that all these gifts would be put in a pool and every employee would be eligible for them. It was nothing great, a few bottles of wine, some chocolates, once there was a stay in a local hotel. But it was important to me that everyone got to be eligible for them. And it is always fun on our last day before we shut down for Christmas to have this raffle. It's a happy end to our busy season. And so it's been for a few years, until one year where our sales director was off on holiday in December. I have a call transferred through from one of our customers and I'm thinking I'm about to hear a complaint. Instead, he asked me for the address to send the whiskey for the sales director this year. Say what? Apparently, the sales director received 2 bottles of expensive scotch every year from this customer. I told him he was off on holiday and asked him to send them in my care. I then had my assistant send an email to every customer with our gifts policy. You know what happened? That year we had a ton of gifts. Whiskey hampers from fancy stores, weekend retreats. The sneaky sales reps were just accepting these gifts and not following the policy. They all played the, "Oh, this is the first year they've sent gifts that I know of," or "I don't know the policy cards." I wasn't having that. I showed them the signatures of them having received the brief on the policy. And I reminded them that if they were found to be in breach of this, formal disciplinary action could be taken. Here is where I maliciously complied with my own policy. I had written in the policy that you can be removed from the Christmas gift raffle should you be found in breach of said policy, accidentally or otherwise, to prevent this exact situation. I didn't state how long this removal would last for. None of them faced disciplinary action as it would be too hard to prove. It was 4 years ago last Christmas. Still no sales reps in the raffle. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Let me know what you think about the stories in the comment section below. Have a great day. Bye bye.